Welcome to Bay Area Sports Report. My name is Rady, and today we are going to go over day 8 of 49ers training camp. Today was better now. Yesterday, let's just say there was a lot of injuries, and it's definitely not. It's two things that I'm saying that I think that are happening with injuries. I'm looking at you, training staff and substation, but let's get right into it. As there are some returns coming back, as Dejan's dribbling is officially back at practice, was out for since 8/1. And the 49ers have signed a left guard, Kion Smith, to a 1 year deal. Now, I won't mind this. I think this kind of signals Carver Willis's concussion because I think Brett Toph's undisclosed. It means kind of like an unknown. So I don't think it's a bit of an issue right now. I don't think it's an issue right now. I think Carver Willis's injury is kind of an issue, which is unfortunate because I really liked this pick. I was so happy when they finally picked an offensive lineman for this draft because I was so mad that they didn't pick up like Emmanuel Pregnon, who I wanted the 49ers to select, which because he fit the system perfectly, but I'm happy that they picked him up, but he's injured now with the concussion. I don't mind this. He does play tackle also, so it's a good versatile thing. I think Vidarian Lowe's injury, I don't think it's a bit of an issue. He should come back week 1. Brett Toph, I think he's gonna be fine. I think Carver Willis right now is fine. Vic Zakel, he should be fine too. So all three of those guys, in my view, they're injured, but I think they will come back. But for Carver Willis with his concussion, that's kind of an issue, especially when it happened with Nick Martin last year, where he was out for pretty much the entire season, except for like one game where he played good. So this might keep Carver Willis out for like a couple of weeks for concussion. So it's not exactly the best thing, but I don't mind this signing. I think it's a great signing for the Niners. As you can see, Christian Kirk and Mike Evans are getting some work, doing some work in on the sideline. So that is good news that they are working things out. Hopefully they can come back. They do get I think a day off tomorrow. So we'll see. Today is actually Dwight Clark Day, actually. Instead of 8/7, it's actually 8/6 today for the 49ers. So it's interesting, especially so. But it's good to see Christian Kirk and Mike Evans back on the field working out. Looks like they're having a little bit of looks like they're trying to do one-on-ones, just trying to pretend. So it's good to see them together. It's nice to see Mike Evans and Kirk working out there. It's good to see them on the sidelines. Here's Michael Williams now. He looks like he's doing very well on his recovery from his ACL. I don't think he's going to be ready by week 1. I think he will probably come back week 2 the same as George Kittle is. But it's good to see him still being there. It's good to still see him out on the field. He's doing some high steps. He's not doing running right now, so his ACL is probably still like not feeling strong enough to feel better, but it's good to see him. Here's Jason dribbling. So he wasn't practicing on 11 on 11s or 1-on-1s, but the good news is on dribbling is that he was catching at least some he was on pads, he had his helmet on, he was able to catch some passes on the side. There's Debo over there also. So hey, it's not practicing, but it's at least something. It's better than nothing, and at least he showed up on practice, and I will talk about someone later. So here's George Kittle rehabbing, looking very good, running out. Like, I get it, he wants to come back week 1. I think he wants to have that, but I would just have him come back week 2. I could just live with Jake Tonges and Luke Farrell because I could just live with Jake Tonges because he's been a good receiver and he's taken Kittle's spot like when he was out very well. Here's dribbling there again with some of the receivers as he's talking with Debo Samuel and Demarcus Robinson. Here's Sam Okuwanu was back as he left injury with an ankle injury. So, and I like Samo. He was very good. He had some 4 sacks, I think, or 3 sacks. So it's nice to see him back on the field. So it's good to see him back on there. I think he's been one of the best um, pass rushers we had, so it's good to have him back on the team. Mac Jones is dancing out, as you can see there. Debo catching some vibes, feeling a little bit pumped on training camp. And then, and there's some other players that are back on the field. Stribling was back, as you know. Dre Greenlaw was back. So he was in pads also. And then Osa Digizua, he was also in pads. So I think he participated in 11 on 11s and 1-on-1s. So that's at least good to see that there. So Maguano also was back in practice. As for Nick Sakel, he's dealing with an elbow injury, as you can see here. But it's good to see those four people back. So that's like, okay, it's not that much from the 20 injuries. So 20 might like 16 players that are still injured. Look, it's not a lot. It's not a lot, but at least it's something. At least so four players have come back. So at least that's probably 16 players are injured. And I know that's a bad number, but at least it's something. So it's better than more injuries. So I'll at least take it. At least. As for as for Mac Jones, you like to call Dejan Stribling the Flying Hawaiian, so that's because he is so fast, which I don't mind. I like the it's a okay nickname, but I like Strip City a bit better. And then I don't know how to highlight this, but Brock Purdy with a deep touchdown pass to new wide receiver Kahir Hodge at camp. And I want to highlight this. Brock Purdy has been balling lately. He was kind of like floating passes. Then he was like throwing passes too far, and now he's starting to be better. He has a lot of that was limiting turnovers, which he was telling as Clay Kubiak was talking about it, Brock Purdy was talking about it, and right now in training camp, he's doing that right now. He's absolutely doing great. He's throwing passes, he's throwing tight spaces to receivers he doesn't even know because a lot of them are injured, especially some of the tight ends. Like some of his targets are like Debo, Robinson, Watkins, Bergen, Turner, Grimes, Pauling, Irwin. Like that isn't a lot of players to work with. That isn't a lot of players to work with right now. Tonjes, Luke Farrell, maybe Brandon Willis. We haven't seen anything or talks about him lately, but there's not a lot of options. And McCaffrey, like there's not a lot of options, and he's just taking. And I like that Purdy is trying to use different weapons than his main weapons. But at the same time, he needs those main weapons, especially the season against the Rams in training camp, season week 1, because it's just not looking good for it just doesn't. I really don't want to face like this kind of receiver tight end lineup against the Rams, who have built their quarterback room very good, and that's a little bit worrisome in my view. But like I said, I think Stribley coming back was at least a start. Hopefully, Mike Evans and Kirk come back, so hopefully they could come back to practice. Hopefully, I feel like Caleb Black could come back, especially with George James's ribs. I think like that takes us a bit longer. So overall, the weapons are coming back for 49ers. Dribbling is at least a nice start, so I'll at least take that. And Junior Bergen was highlighted very well. Like yesterday, he did very good. He was projected to be possibly the starter, like I meant, be in the 53-man rosters, which I don't mind because he's a good punt returner. He at least improved out his receiver thing. But one person I want to talk about is Will Pauling, as he was from Notre Dame. He wasn't the best receiver for the 49ers, but he was solid. 381 yards last season, 6 touchdowns. So he was a solid receiver for the 49ers, as he was a great receiver. He could also be a punt returner, as here's one for as Brock Purdy was locked in, as he was 13-14, was lethal, 70-yard deep strikes to Malik Turner and Kahil Hodge. He got fired up, which was kind of awesome. Halton was awesome too. Grayson Halton, he was on fire. Grayson Halton, he was a very good player. He's really taking advantage from after his injury. He he was getting a win. He was fired up after he beat Connor Colby against after he beat Connor Colby. And Colby was worked in 2 and 3s again. Robert Jones with the top unit at left guard, which is an interesting one, but I don't think it's saying, oh, Robert Jones is going to be the left guard. I think they're just experimenting right now. As for Dejan's dribbling, as it shows here, was running looked to 100% running routes with full pads, helmets on the side. Mike Evans has looked good on the side too. Seems clear these are precautionary absences, which again, see, there's nothing to worry about on that. So I think this is fine. As for Ozadikizuwa, was also back and looked disrupted. Again, not smart to read too far into the 49ers playing it safe given what happened last year. Greenlaw also dealing with soreness and already looks like he's champing at the bit to get back. Watches practice with Raheem Morris, which is nice just to get know your defensive coordinator, which is a nice thing. But at the same time, it's kind of a bit of concern if his when he was with Denver Broncos, you have to worry if this is kind of like affecting him at the same time. So you have to wonder if this is affecting him right now. So as for Purdy, he threw 20-yard lasers to Demarcus Robinson. It's good to see great chemistry from that. Purdy also squeezed a sweet crosser to Deebo Samuel, very tight window, high level stuff all around. CMC hit the edge for an early big gainer / potential house call. He continues to look very spry this camp, which is a surprise because McCaffrey has 30, and usually when you're like into that or later on, it kind of means that you are technically gonna not be better anymore, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. You can't stop age in life. So as for the cornerbacks, they had a day as except for one cornerback as Upton Stout. He's just been balling. He's been a very good player. I loved Upton Stout. He was one of my favorite picks in this draft. And a lot of people are saying, "Oh no, he was gonna be a bust," or "Oh no, he's too short." And he was just doing good last year, and he's looking better this year. He's gonna be one of the best slot receivers. Like I love Nate Hobbs, but I love Upton Stout a bit more. He's just so good. He's so energetic. He's very hyper. He's just like a he just has a fire in his eyes, and I just love that from him, and it's just awesome to see him just breaking passes up, and he's just gonna be an awesome player out there. I love what he's done on him getting picked. Hasn't got a lot of picks, but I love what he's done so far. As for DeAndre Noor, he isn't facing a lot of competition for the receivers, which is no surprise, as he locked down most of the receivers and looking good. As a lot of the quarterbacks aren't going to go after him, which is a good thing, but also a bad thing because they might target the weak links. I don't think Stout is a bit of an issue though, because I think he's going to be better than he was, which leads me to Ronaldo Green and Jack Jones. Now this competition has been going back and forth and back and forth. As this one shows, Jack Jones had a very athletic interception on a deep out from Matt Jones, intended for Jordan Watkins. A little later, good coverage from rookie features Pricelock on Watkins. Mac also threw a near interception to Luke Gifford. So Mac Jones is not looking the best right now. I think he's just not doing good. I don't know if this has to affect Kyle Shanahan. I don't know if it's that, because he really was the one that made him a bit better in my view. So it may be that, but who knows? Hopefully he could at least turn it around. He has to get it together. As for Jack Jones, Ephesians Pricelock, I could see those two being the CB2. I really love Renardo Green, but he's the issue is on him is that he gets a lot of flags, and he also either gets flagged or he just gets burnt usually. So unfortunately, that's kind of his issue. But I also don't want Jack Jones to start. Don't get me wrong. I think Jack Jones is a good cornerback, and I was happy that we signed him. But he gets burnt usually, and he's usually good in training camp. The question is he good in the season? And that technically is not really, no. Because most of the time, he usually gets burnt, and I do not want to see that, especially with Puka Nakua or Devontae Adams burning on him. So I don't want to see that. So I really don't mind. I mean, if he's better and if he can't get burnt, then I don't mind him starting. But all I'm asking is just have good coverage and just be better. As for Marquise Siegel, I love Marquis Siegel. He had very good coverage today. He was on one-on-ones against receivers, and he broke up very good passes. He's looking better in coverage and in tackling, which I love because I need a safety who is good at coverage, and then another safety who's good at tackling and stopping the run, and then place some coverage, like not a bunch of coverage for like strong safety, because strong safety you're supposed to be the tackler on like run stops. But for the free safety, you need to be a safety that like has good coverages, gets picks, tackles, and gets pass breakups. That's what I want from a free safety. Can analyze the ball, can analyze what the receiver is running. That's what I want from a free safety. So I love what Marquis Siegel's done, so I'm excited on that. As for Ronaldo Green so far, he or what was it? Jair Brown, sorry. Jair Brown, he punched the ball out from Luke Farrell. Ronaldo Green recovered despite that. Farrell has still been way more improved in the past game than last game. Which is a very good thing. I like that he's improving on training on his pass catching, which I wanted because Charlie Warner, like, sure, he was a blocker, but he was also a pass catcher, so I didn't mind that. Jair Brown did have that good play of punching the ball out, but at the same time, he gave up a long run for a touchdown. And now Jair Brown now thinks he's a top 5 safety, which is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. Because I can name, like, other safeties that are, like, better than him. Like, Reed Blankenship is one, Jesse Bates is one, Grant Delpit is one, Caleb Downs is probably going to be one because he's looking good. I've seen what he's done so far. I could see that, so I don't really trust Jair Brown. Like, I really don't think he's a top 5 safety. And if he wants, and I don't even think he is a top 5 or top 10. I don't even think he's a top 15 safety. I think he's a top 20 or 25 because I really don't see him being like a top 5 safety at all. Like, I get it, you have picks, but there's more to being a safety than picks, than getting pick sixes. It's about having good coverage. It's about analyzing the route running. It's about reading the routes, reading the quarterback's eyes. It's more than just getting picks. It's more about giving good coverage also. And that's what he's not doing because he gets burnt usually whenever he's in coverage. He's good at analyzing the quarterback's eyes, and he's usually good at getting picks. I love that. But what I want, Jair Brown, from you, and what I want from him is that if he's good I want him to be good in coverage, to be able to like get pass breakups and be able to not get burned in like long routes. That's what I want from him. That's what I want. That's why I want to stick with Marquis Siegel and Malik Mustafa because look, and Malik, he hasn't practiced it, but I love Malik, and I really don't see him just being a bench guy. I really see him to just be more of a starter. And I'm sure I feel like he's way better. Like, I get it, like, he gave up a passer rating of 113, but I feel like maybe he's just better but that's because the Niners placed him at, like, free safety, as you can see in the depth chart here. They have to move him to strong safety because he's more better at that. And Jair Brown is also a strong safety too, so I'd rather just stick with that. So that's why I want to go and just do this trade. As the 49ers, as Seth Waldern from ESPN came up with a trade that makes too much sense. As 49ers include a 2027 third round pick for Atlanta Falcons star Jesse Bates and a 2028 sixth round pick. I would do this. Mostly because this is going to be like the Osa Dikizua thing. Look, it's not long-term like Osa, but it is going to help you to at least be better. I love Jesse Bates. I've highlighted it in one of my videos that he's a great safety. He's good in coverage. He's good at making tackles. He's good at getting picks. And that's what makes him a bit better. And he's a veteran because, and I highlighted this like so many times, what I want from safeties is that I want a safety who's young and is like, whether it's a free safety or strong safety, I want someone who's young on one side. And then for a veteran, and then I want a safety who's a veteran who can teach him to be better at tackling and better at being in coverage, better at being in getting interceptions. That's what I want from a safety tandem. And right now, the safeties like Jair Brown, I mean, sure, he's a bit older, a little bit, but he's still young. And I'd rather go with Jesse Bates. He's just been more proven, more better, and I would love this. I would rather stick with like the second trade. I don't mind. I wouldn't mind this, but at the same time, I would say I would just trade Jair Brown for Jesse Bates and a 2028 sixth round pick because that way you get like because the Falcons could be like, oh, we don't want this, and then you could be like, how about this? You get Jair Brown, you sign him to a long-term deal, and then you try to develop him and see what you get from him. And then you have two young safeties with Xavier Watts, and then you get Jair Brown as a young safety or a developmental project. That's what I would do. But if they don't accept that, then I would just exclude like this trade also, and then maybe Jair Brown in this, and then for Jesse Bates, and then maybe like a 2028 sixth round pick. So I won't mind that. And besides, I feel like the Niners are probably gonna trade the first round pick like they did last time. So I really don't see that. So they're probably just gonna get second and third round picks, which is probably the smart thing because they're not good at picking in the first round. Like I don't mind if they, I won't mind if they keep the first round pick. I won't mind that, but they're probably just gonna do that. But who knows? I mean, this is a stacked 2027 draft class for next year. So they may just stay and probably pick. So who knows? We'll have to see. But yeah, that is all for today. So overall, this was a great training camp. It's a better from yesterday. Well, we'll see about next training camp. We'll see. So, but overall, offense had a great. Brock Purdy had a great day. The cornerbacks had a great day. We'll see. Monitor the CB2 spot. I really thought Ronaldo Green had that locked down, but Jack Jones is just doing good, and we'll just have to. I'll have to monitor. We'll monitor on that competition. We'll monitor on the left guard position. We'll have to see on that. So, yeah, and that is all for today. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share. Make sure to like, subscribe, share, comment down below on what you think of Day of 49ers training camp. And this is Bay Area Sports Report signing off.